it's Melissa the Dreadful Mystic, and today I wanted to share with you a recipe. In fact, I made this morning, and that's what kind of gave me the idea to share this with you. But it's my Four Thieves Vinegar recipe. Now, Four Thieves Vinegar is not necessarily only found in hoodoo. You know, it's found throughout a lot of traditions, and you know, it's like I said, it's not particular to hoodoo, but I do know, well, pretty much every hoodoo practitioner that I know uses Four Thieves Vinegar, and I think every single one has a different recipe for Four Thieves Vinegar. So this is one of those recipes that there'll be a lot of ingredients that are common to use, but not all of them will be used to make it. So I usually make Four Thieves Vinegar twice a year. I make a quart size jar. This is it. It's all cloudy because I just mixed it up. But I make a quart size jar, and that will last me about 6 months. It will technically stay good for a year or longer, but that only lasts me about 6 months, because I usually, what happens is I'll use it just sort of sparingly throughout the first few months, and then whenever spring rolls around, I'll use the hell out of it, because I'll use it in all my spring cleaning, and then I'll make more, which I'm late this year making this, but I'll make more, and then around fall, right before winter, you know, I kind of use it sparingly, and then around fall, right before winter, I'll use the hell out of it and need to make more. Now, it usually takes a month for my Four Thieves Vinegar to be ready. Like I said, I usually make it earlier, but some of the ingredients that I needed for this were not quite ready in my garden. I just didn't have enough yet, so I had to wait for some to grow. And you can use your own herbs. That's what I like to do. You do not have to. Everything can be store-bought. It's really cheap. It's not a challenge to make it all. All the ingredients are very accessible. But like I said, I like to use as many of my own herbs because I have a stronger connection to those herbs, and to me they're more powerful that way. It's totally up to you. Let's see. Okay, folklore. Let's talk about why we even use Four Thieves Vinegar. What's the history behind it? So back during the Black Plague, 1700s, there were four brothers, who would go out at night and they would rob graves, and no one could figure out how they were not getting the plague. You know, and they knew they weren't catching the plague because they kept doing it for long periods of time. And once you caught the plague, you didn't really have the energy for activities like that. So, and your lifespan was considerably shortened. So, what they did was they were from a family of perfumers. And perfumers had a lot of understanding and knowledge of herbs. And so what they would do was they would take garlic and vinegar and a mixture of basically garlic infused vinegar, and rub it all over their bodies, and that is what kept them from getting sick. And at the time, people thought, oh, well, this is magic, you know, and there is a lot of magic to that. But also, scientifically, we know that garlic repels bugs. Most people use garlic in their own pesticide, like homemade pesticides that don't use all the harsh chemicals. You know, that's what I use. One of the main ingredients I use in my pesticides for my garden. And so yeah, that is one of the things that helped. And also, you know, vinegar and garlic both have a lot of properties that deal with keeping you healthy and your immune system strong. So yeah, that's how we got Four Thieves Vinegar. Now, most people add more than garlic to their vinegar. You know, most people add, in fact, 4 herbs. It's kind of traditional. Doesn't have to be 4 herbs. You can add more. I personally like to use just the 4 herbs, garlic being one of them, because it, you know, there's a lot of power in tradition. So, now granted, like I said, these herbs can vary. So, the way I make mine is I start out with apple cider vinegar. And you don't have to use apple cider vinegar. You can use regular vinegar. Personally, to me, apple cider vinegar has a lot of connections to cleansing and health benefits. That's why I use it. again, you can use regular vinegar. It's totally up to you. So, and then what I do is I chop up 3 small cloves of garlic. And the reason why I just use 3 small cloves is because garlic, when sitting for a long period of time in anything, gets really strong. And I personally don't want it to be overpowering, you know. I like the smell of garlic, but I don't want that to be the only thing I smell. And that's just my personal preference. So if you want to use more garlic than that, that's totally fine. Just realize that the more you use, the stronger it's going to be. So after I chop up the garlic, I will take like a small bowl and put just a little bit of apple cider vinegar in that bowl and let that garlic set for a while. I try to let it set for a few hours, and that way, to me, it just kind of breaks down a little bit better. You don't have to do that. That's what I like to do. Then I put in a quart jar, just like this one, clean, sterile quart jar. I put rosemary sprigs, peppermint sprigs, and lavender. Now, I enjoy the combination of those herbs. They all have strong ties to cleansing, protection, and banishment. So, especially when it comes to evil, or, you know, bad vibes, negative vibes, whatever you want to call it. So, that's why I use those herbs. And once I feel like my garlic has kind of set for a while, I'll pour it on top of those herbs and then fill the rest of the jar up with apple cider vinegar. And then what I do is I give it a little shake, and you can shake like counterclockwise if you want, because you know this is all about cleansing and banishing. And I say, evil may come, but it will not stay. My 4 Thieves vinegar will keep it away. So, and I do that every day for a month. And that's how long I usually let these herbs set too. And at the end of that month, or 4 weeks, you know, at the end of that period, I will strain it into another jar. And I have like a fine mesh strainer. And I just set that on top of another jar. And I will strain it into the other jar, and then it's ready. It's done. So, to me, this is a really good recipe, something fun to do, especially on the solstice. You know, a lot of people harvest their herbs on the solstice. So you can harvest your herbs that morning, make up a batch, you know, of 4 Thieves vinegar, make up your batch, and then have it set in the sun, you know, during solstice, and let it charge up with the sun. You know, sun is great to harness for cleansing and clearing, and really banishing any kind of negative or evil spirits. You know, that's the whole point of witch balls, is the sun will destroy those evil spirits. So there's a lot of ties there. So that is what I do, and it's a really simple process. It's easy to make. Now I will, whenever I make my fall batch, I will replace the peppermint with clove, because I usually have more cloves. Like right now I'm out of cloves. Last time, I think during the spring solstice or a spring equinox, I made a spice cake from scratch, and I used up the last of my cloves. So at least my whole cloves. So anyway, in the fall I like to add cloves because it just smells more wintry. You know, I'll use it during the fall and winter, and I just enjoy it. But and that's one of the herbs you can use. Like I said, I usually stick to 4 because it's traditional, plus 4 Thieves vinegar. A lot of ties there to tradition. So you can always just add cloves to the other 4 herbs we're using. So other herbs you can use: thyme. You know, I like lemon thyme a lot. And things like this, but like I don't really use it in my 4 Thieves vinegar. But if I did decide to use thyme, I'd use lemon thyme. Cloves. You can use sage. You can use rue. You can use basil. You can use black pepper. In fact, I've seen a lot of recipes with black pepper. I do not, for the main reason that peppers are a lot like garlic. The longer they set, the stronger they get. So eventually that black pepper will overpower everything because it gets so strong the longer it sits in there. So now you don't have to this is basically what's called a cold infusion. You can heat this up. The thing about that is vinegar evaporates really fast in hot water. So if you do, I would do it slow, like a slow boil, and not for very long. Personally, cold infusion to me works the best. And like I said, I know on this solstice I will set this out and let the sun kind of infuse things a little bit better. I usually keep it on my altar where it can get some decent sunlight, and then once I strain everything, I'll stick it in my pantry. So it's totally up to you, how you want to go about that process. But to me, that is the best. That's what works best for me. And everything, it smells really good. To me, it infuses really well. I like to use fresh herbs over dried. Now, granted, the lavender is dry, but that's because I don't grow my own lavender. But I like using fresh herbs. They tend to put out a lot more oils and have a stronger smell. So, but you can use dried. It's totally up to you. Play with it and figure out what you like best. You have plenty of opportunities to, every time you make it, to try something different. So, but that is what I like to use. And I will probably write a blog post and link it with a detailed written recipe for y'all, and that way you have something that you can look back at if you want to make this later. But to me, it'll be a lot of fun to do for the solstice, and an interesting, quick little project that you can have going. And as far as what I use it for, you can put it on yourself to cleanse yourself. You can, personally, I don't like putting it right on my skin because I don't like the way vinegar smells. I put it in my bath. Like, I'll take a couple of tablespoons and throw it in some bath water and do that. And to me, the vinegar smell, it evaporates a lot quicker. But that's just me. So you can put it directly on your skin. You can, as long as you use herbs that are okay to consume, you can add a little bit, like a half a teaspoon, into water and drink it to boost your immunity for health benefits. I use it to clean my floors. I use it to clean my mirrors especially. I really love using that. I'll dilute a little bit in a spray bottle with water and spray it on my mirrors, and it does a really good job to clean and cleanse my mirrors, because mirrors are portals. So yeah, clean surfaces. I will cleanse my altar. I will wash my doors with it. I will wash, my use a little bit whenever I spray down my front porch. So I mix it in with the water. And yeah, I use it for everything. Clean my windows, all kinds of stuff, y'all. You can use it any way you want to cleanse. You can use this. And honestly, to me, a lot of people will talk about using Florida water and putting it on themselves. To me, this is a lot more skin friendly than Florida water. Alcohol dries you out real bad. Vinegar doesn't. So you can use it. Put a little bit in your shampoo, wash your hair with it. You can use it for anything as far as cleansing, and it's safe as long as you use safe herbs. Like, if I put rue in this, I would be a little lenient, or not lenient, but wary of using this on my skin or ingesting, because rue is poisonous. So It's not super poisonous, but I mean, this is sort of concentrated. So if you're putting fresh rue in here, it could be dangerous. So just be cautious, you know, with stuff like that. So I really don't like using rue in for Thieves Vinegar, but some people do. So it's totally up to you. So yeah, especially be careful if you're pregnant using rue. Rue was once used to abort babies in early trimesters, so it is super dangerous if you are pregnant or trying to get pregnant. So yeah, that's all I can think of. But yeah, you can use it in anything and everything, and it's really great. And you know, I love Florida water, and but I really love my 4 Thieves Vinegar too. You can even add it to your like a teaspoon or a tablespoon to your laundry, you know. So whenever I wash my curtains, I put 4 Thieves Vinegar in it. So usually, honestly, I usually use about half a tablespoon. So, but it just depends on the size of the load that you're doing and all that. So yeah, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I will definitely put a link to my blog post. Like I said, I'll write this up on my blog post. Let's see, on the solstice, which is on Wednesday, the Deviant Witch and I will be live on Facebook on Deviant Witchery. I'll put a link in the down bar, so you can definitely catch that. We are going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk about, funny enough, cleansing baths and or cleansing showers and ritual baths. The difference and different ideas that you can use in order to, you know, really enjoy your ritual bath or your cleansing shower. We're also going to just kind of talk, you know, we'll have the comments open, so we're going to talk about really anything y'all want to talk about, and it'll be a lot of fun. So join us for that on Wednesday. It'll be around 10:30 Central Standard Time, PM, not AM. Yeah, that's all I can really think of to tell y'all. Definitely check out my website, melissathe.dreadfulmystic.com. I have plenty of tarot readings. If you're interested in tarot reading or an oracle reading, I have a ton of herbal blends, stuff for ritual baths or showers, sugar and salt scrubs. I have tarot bags. So, yeah, check it out, y'all. I think you'll really enjoy it. And that's, oh, and mojo bags. I also have mojo bags for sale. So, yeah, definitely take a look at that. My Facebook page. And I'll have all these links down below. So, y'all have a wonderful day and a wonderful solstice. And I will see y'all later. Bye.